All right, I'm going to give you some proof that we are actually living in a new world. Have you missed it? Okay, today I am going to give you 4 steps to render a new consciousness. If you're not feeling what I'm going to talk about today, if you don't feel like you're part of that, you're still in the old world. You got maybe one foot in both worlds. I'm going to show you with 4 steps how to render a new consciousness in the new world that is forming right now. Are you ready to go into it? Because we're going to talk about the things that are actually going on that you don't hear about on the news and the craziness and the conspiracy garbage. What are you listening to? You have to participate in the new world to experience it. No, it is done. Are you ready for this? This is great news. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube. I'm here to help you break through the fear. I have a free webinar. Go in my description because we're here to step into a new world and recognize what we are. Today, I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you what other people are doing to prove to you that it is happening on such an advanced level, and you're going to start tapping into it. Stay tuned for Friday because I'm actually going to make 7 predictions. 7 concrete ones. I'm not going to beat around the bush. So, are you living in the new earth? Here's proof that you may have missed. You're not waiting for the new earth. You're standing in it right now. And I can prove that to you in the next 15 minutes. All right. We're going to talk about the proof that the shift already happened. It's not a prediction. It's not a someday. It's not October 2026. There may be some events coming up that I'm going to share with you why these events are not predictable on a timeline. Do they exist? All of them do. Will they happen? It's up to you, and I'm going to talk to you about that. These are measured, documented, sitting in research papers. Most people never open a government-funded lab tracked human consciousness for over a decade and found something that they couldn't explain with old physics. And right now, while you're watching this, awakened people are quietly building the actual infrastructure of a new world. Schools, farms, economies that don't run on fear. And I worked with AI and said, I want you to tell me what's going on right now that we're not hearing about. And I hear stories from some of you. Somebody's broke. They have to eat fast food. That's the old world. There's always another choice, and you have to make it if you want to participate in this. Do you feel it? That sense of something underneath everything has already changed. We're not going to build on hope anymore. You got to know it. We are going to render what we know exists right now, despite what's going on around you. And I'm not ever going to tell you to ignore it. We're taking action in the new world. And by creating that, we are no longer paying attention to the old, and it is dissolving. I promise you that. But not if you're participating in it. If you're in that room playing around in the dungeons, that's your world, and you're going to tell me nothing's happening, Landria. So let's talk about real data and real projects and the real shift, because they're all one thing. The scientists measuring collective consciousness and the people building intentional communities right now, they're describing the same event from 2 different rooms. That's our mission today. So let's look at the proof. Let's name the trap. You've been told the new earth is a future event. You're waiting for an event. You're waiting for predictions and prophets to tell you what's going to happen. And you focus on the worst of it, the collapse, the destruction. It was only a warning. The second step is the empowerment of changing it. Something that arrives after enough people wake up, after some cosmic deadline, after the right number of light workers hit critical mass. That framing keeps you waiting. And there are those, even spiritual teachers, that will want you to keep following them so that you will wait for their next announcement of what's coming when I'm going to tell you. You're doing it right now. Waiting is passive. Waiting is exactly what keeps your power sitting on the shelf. That's part of the distraction. It seems like a good thing. Is it? I don't know. You tell me. Let's be honest. Nothing's in stone, and no one gets to hand you a date and tell you that the new earth starts then, because it already started. It's been evolving. It started the moment enough individual fields of consciousness shifted to register as a measurable change in the collective field. We know the Schumann resonance has changed, right? That's not metaphor. That's a documented statistical anomaly, and I'm going to show it to you. The people who are building right now, the ones starting regenerative farms, decentralized education models, energy independent communities, they're not waiting for permission from a prophecy timeline. They read the field and they moved. I cast entrepreneurs for an amazing show, and I hear stories that are transformational all day long. People are doing it. So the question isn't, when does the new earth arrive? The question is, are you still treating this as a spectator event? Are you ready to see that you're already inside the render? Ascension is yours. Authority, conversion, science, not profits. Let's go straight to the data. The Global Consciousness Project ran for over 2 decades out of Princeton. Random number generators, machines producing pure statistical noise, were placed around the world. You're going to love this. During major global events, when huge numbers of people focused emotionally on the same thing at the same time, those random generators stopped behaving randomly all over the world. The output shifted toward coherence measurably, repeatedly. That's quantum physics. Let's read that again. Collective human attention altered the output of physical machines. That is not a metaphor for oneness. That is oneness showing up in a laboratory. It is everywhere. Now pair that with the Maharishi Effect studies. You may have heard this. This is outstanding. And this is many years ago. I think it was in the 80s. Groups of people practicing coherent meditation in a single location and researchers tracking a corresponding drop in crime rates and conflict in the surrounding region during those exact windows. Multiple independent studies published, peer-reviewed, replicated. The finding held up. Concentrated coherent consciousness has a measurable effect on the field around it. Meditating. Higher wishes. Here's where it gets interesting. Federico Faggin, the physicist who helped invent the microprocessor, the actual architecture inside every computer on this planet, right? This is a smart guy. He spent his later career studying consciousness itself. He had an awakening. He connected to that world and realized it's not something you can explain, but let's measure it. His conclusion, consciousness isn't produced by the brain. The brain is a receiver. This is just a little machine that we use while we're here. Reality isn't being created from nothing. It's being rendered. It's pulled into form from a field of infinite probability that already exists. Whatever you desire, whatever you think is true, it exists already, and your attention brings it into reality, but you got to believe it, know it, and you've got to practice it. Rendering isn't creating something. It's bringing into existence because it already exists. That's different than law of attraction. I'm going to formulate something. No, I got to know it, live it. It is done. That reality will show up. We're going to start doing more of these practices. So put these 3 pieces together. The Global Consciousness Project shows collective attention measurably bends the field. The Maharishi studies show concentrated coherence changes outcomes in physical reality. And Faggin gives you the mechanism. Consciousness is the render engine, not the byproduct. The Maharishi Effect. Crime rate dropped drastically. Illnesses dropped drastically. This is how we heal ourselves. That's the proof, not a prophecy, not a channeled message. Measured data from a physics lab, a meditation research program, and one of the most respected minds in modern computing, all independently pointing toward the exact same conclusion. Coherent human consciousness directly shapes physical outcomes. You hold this power. Everyone does. There's nobody who has favor. How can we have favor? We are all one. And here's what most people miss. If the field responds to concentrated coherence, it is already responding to the awakened humans currently building outside the old system. But you got to do it. You can't go into the old system and give me all kinds of excuses. The regenerative agricultural networks, the community-owned energy grids, the decentralized learning models replacing broken institutions. You're not hearing about that, are you? None of that is a future possibility. It's the render already in motion, showing up as a physical infrastructure right now because enough coherent attention pulled it into form. You don't need me to name more names to prove this. The machines already did. Let's talk about quantum empowerment. Here's what this means for you personally sitting there right now. If collective coherent attention can shift the output of a physical random number generator, your individual field is not a passive observer in this. All right? You are contributing input right now. Somebody says, I have a problem manifesting. I said, well, you're doing it right now. What are you thinking? You're manifesting, you're rendering. Every time you choose coherence over fear, you are not just feeling better. You are adding weight to the side of the field that is already rendering the new earth into form. It's your choice and it has to happen now. I want you to remember that. This isn't about optimism as a coping mechanism. It's about you functioning as an actual variable in a measured system. Now, there's been debate about whether individual consciousness even matters at planetary scale. Oh boy, it does. Here's why the answer is yes. The observer effect in quantum mechanics already tells you that observation collapses probability into a specific outcome. whatever you're thinking. Anything that they measure is one probability out of endless ones, and you are choosing which one gets pulled into your reality through your focus, not necessarily the one you want, but the one you believe. Well, the bad stuff showing up, well, then you must be thinking about the bad stuff or fearing it, right? That's why we want to break through fear. Go get my free webinar in the description. So if you've been believing the new earth is still coming, you've been quietly voting for delay. Somebody else has the power. It's going to be done for me. It's not coming, right? And it's not coming. For most of you say nothing ever shows up. Well, every day you treat it as a future event. You render more of the current collapsing system into form instead. You have to change it by seeing the change, by being the change, by knowing that reality is already in your midst and that the physical world will catch up to it. That's exciting. The data already shows the catching up is happening. The infrastructure is already appearing. People are pulling together to create something new and exciting. You are a sovereign creator, not a bystander waiting on a timeline drawn by someone else, a direct contributor to a field that's already proven in a lab that it responds to you. I'm going to give you the steps and the tools. Here's what I want you to focus on for the rest of this video. 4 concrete moves that put you inside the render instead of outside watching it, right? It's never going to show up because you're waiting for it. Step 1, audit your attention like scientists would. For the next 7 days, notice where your focus goes by default. Fear content, scarcity narratives, doom scrolling versus coherence building content. What you eat, what you use, everything. You're contributing to the old world. If you tell me you can't change it, then so be it. That's where you'll live. You are literally choosing your contribution to the field's output. Treat your attention like the random number generator treats collective emotion. What you feed it changes what it produces. Step 2, find or build a coherence node. The Maharishi studies didn't work because one person meditated alone in a room. They work because groups gathered in coherent intention. Find your version of that, a meditation group, a mastermind, a community project. Go online and do it if you have to. If you can't find one outside, concentrated coherent attention in one place has a documented radius of effect. It's proven. You want to be inside that radius and you want to be building one. So step 3, put your energy into something that already exists in the new paradigm. Not something you're waiting to create, something already operating, a local regenerative project. They're here. A Skillshare network, a creative community, an education alternative. Support it, join it, amplify it. You are now participating in the new world, a creative, expansive one. You're not manifesting these from nothing. You're rendering more resources toward what awakened humans have already pulled into form. Amplify it. Step 4, stop narrating the collapse and start narrating the build. You guys are complaining a lot. The government, blah, blah, blah. Talk to the hand. Oop, this is spiritual butt kick. Language shapes which probability you collapse into observation. Every time you describe the world only in terms of what's falling apart, you're focusing the observer effect on the old system. You're creating it, you're living in it. Deliberately narrate what's being built instead, out loud in your own words, to yourself and to others. What's happening that's amazing? You got to find it, because I'll tell you what, the old world doesn't want you to know about it. They want you thinking that remote viewing and movie stars are clones, keeping your attention off of what you should be doing, and that's creating and ascending that new world. 4 steps, none of them require you to wait for a date, a prophecy, or someone else's permission, including mine. All 4 are things you can start today because the field is already responsive. The data prove that. What's the outcome? So let's bring this all the way back around. You came into this video maybe still holding on to the idea that the new earth is something that arrives later for someone else. October 2026, the golden lady's going to tell us what. It's up to us. We're creating it. And I'm going to tell you Friday, I'm going to give you the key to that. You're going to love my predictions. This isn't someone else's timeline. It's yours. Here's the truth the data hands you. A physics lab measured collective consciousness bending physical outcomes. Meditation researchers measured coherent groups changing conflict rates around them. One of the architects of modern computing spent his career proving that reality is rendered from a field that already contains it. And right now, awakened humans are building the physical proof of that render into farms, schools, and communities you can see with your own eyes. You are not waiting for this. You are already inside it, and your attention is one of the inputs deciding how fast the rest of the world catches up. Are you ready to step into it? I'm going to ask you right now, never lose sight of that. You and I will build this together. Do not lose your hope and do not lose your faith in what the data already confirmed. No, it is done, said the Bible. Please subscribe, give this a thumbs up, and ring that bell because you're not going to want to miss what happens Friday. Go down and get my free webinar. It's free inspiration. It's a webinar, how to break through fear. And then I have a second one that comes out 4 days later. And then I have exercises for you to get out of the negative thinking, because we're automatically clinging to that because we're programmed for that. And you're going to see other people pulling you into it. Stay here. Here's what's wrong. Create what's new and beautiful. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. This is my book. Yep, maybe the last spiritual book you have to read. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.